Well, I don't know if it's going to be a good day or not. It's 5:15 p.m. Day's just about over with. It is June 22nd, 2021. Somebody mark this date because I'm a little peeved, a little pissed off at people at this point. And I'm talking about every damn registered voter in every state. That includes you, viewer. Because you guys allowed democracy to be plowed under and you didn't care. You didn't care to rally behind your flag as you kept claiming that you would do because those who kept supporting those who did the January 6th excursion, some people would call it, and not a riot. It was an insurrection that happened on January 6th, but I guess it didn't happen. Didn't matter if people died in that damn thing. They were so wrapped up with the damn flag idea, with someone else's idea of what America was supposed to be, that they're saying that their own freedom and their own liberties are being taken away left and right. So yeah, I don't blame the politicians. I blame the American people. Because the blame is the American people. You heard me say that. The blame is the American people. We allowed it. You may argue, but you allowed it. You wanted it, you got it. Enjoy it. Our democracy falls. If it falls under my generation, under this particular century, then I blame every single damn American who voted, who was registered to vote, and didn't give a shit. Probably even to the kids that don't even understand what the hell went on. Because at this point, what happened today, there was a voting bill happening that was supposed to keep all those limitations on voting rights. They're supposed to be putting them in check. The Constitution of the United States of America guarantees citizens the right to vote. That means to elect their own leader, gives power to the states to elect their own officials, to have them run their own states. And there's always been a fight between federal and state since the concept of the country and all the way through now. And part of democracy is always that conflict there. But when we have a bully pulpit of sorts, not the elected one, but the unofficial elected one, the mass bully, they're putting up every obstacle necessary in order to make sure that one party, one rule happens. Screw the other parties, because this is going to be the ultimate one. And yes, in politics, it's a war. It's a war because this is how our government was set up a long time ago. Now, if anybody else had any other ideas of how to form a near perfect government, and we're nowhere near perfect, but that's the way it was created in the first place. It was supposed to have been open with amendment processes in there for people to constantly make changes to the country's to the Constitution in order for the country to be guided one way or another. And what the hell we have? Chaos and confusion. I mean it. I blame the American people for what the hell's going on at this point over here, because we do outrage when it comes down for a shooting of a black person. We go crazy concerning about racial murder. But when it comes down for voter suppression, everyone is asleep and don't care. Maybe we should have our democracy end, because apparently there is no such thing as America. There's only such a thing called America. Because quite frankly, there was a riot and insurrection instigated by one lunatic who wanted to keep his freaking job. Even though he got voted out of office by people. They got sick and tired of him, at least to a lot of majority people. But now, because they see these things happening in their states, where's the outrage? They wanted Biden in. Fine, Biden's in. We nearly got it. We got a 50-50 in the Senate at this point over here. And we still got infighting with the Senate, with the Democrats. Kind of reminds me of what happened when the Republicans got 2 years in there and didn't even get a damn bill passed. But blamed Democrats for everything. They had the power. They had executive. They had judicial. They had lawmaking, authority. They had it all for 2 years and messed it up. I'm so tempted of cursing like crazy on this one. But no, blame Democrats for everything. Because we can't get our act together. However, we can vote in Voter Suppression Act to limit where and when and how you're going to vote. Oh, you're guaranteed the right to vote, just not the process you're expecting at this point. And if you're disabled, screw you. If you're colored, screw you. If you're mentally deficient, screw you. If you're disabled or racial in any way, shape, or form other than, I'm going to throw it out there, white. Gee, look at my skin color. I'm not exactly considered Hispanic or Indian or black. No, I'm a European native. Actually, a European descendant. I got four countries in me. I've got England. I've got Scotland. I've got Ireland. Jawohl, I got Deutschland. So I got those running through my system at this point. And the fifth is an unknown factor. Because I sure as hell don't know what my biological sperm donor's actual racial or genetic makeup was in the first place. So that's an unknown factor right there. But I'm considered a European descendant mutt. And because I'm a mutt, but I'm also got a Caucasian skin at this point over here, aged white, I should be the ones not complaining about as much concerning about my voting rights. Well, you're right. I should have priority voting, right? Basically, if I was in a southern state at this point over here, and I just had voter restrictions left and right, it's expected for me not to have a place for me to vote. And voting by mail is so discouraged. And for those who are white and disabled. White and disabled. It doesn't matter if I was a different color. Actually, it would. Because I still would be discriminated at this point over here. And trying to find a place to go is a different story altogether. What about the aged? Are they entitled to vote by mail? They're not. They have to crawl to a nearest voting center, maybe about 10 or 15 or 20 miles away, not close by. Or maybe at certain hours where they can't get to it. Or possibly they can't get to it at all. But no, we'll blame politicians for playing their head games. No, I blame the American people. Because you're the ones that voted the idiots in there in the first place. So, if our democracy goes, it's all your fault. Everything. You didn't fight to keep your voting rights or your own rights alive. Oh, God forbid if you should talk about gun rights, if they're going to be taken away by the dreaded Democrats, the libtards out there. They're going to do that to you, know that. Here's another conspiracy theory. They're out to get you. Here comes the Black Hawk helicopters. We're sending in the UN troops now. But then again, you'll be dumb enough and gullible enough to believe anything, don't you? This is why I don't like having subscribers all that much. All to subscribe and listen to me and think I'm a raving lunatic. Well, I am a raving lunatic because I'm pissed off at everybody else at this times. It's not exactly the COVID that did that to me. A lot of things have done it to me. And I don't blame just one. I still have to take quote unquote responsibility and accountability and transparency, as I kept saying on my videos. Well, at least the ones I can remember anyway. But you don't, do you? No, not you. Average Joe citizen? They don't give a shit. And apparently, if somebody in your family probably gets killed, you'll raise a holy stink about it. Because it depends on who and how and where. Now, if it was just basically a gun shooting at a particular public event, allowed in a state where people actually had absolute gun rights to shoot people because they can have actually absolute guns galore all over the place, well, hell. Guess who I get to blame? I get to blame the people. Because they allowed it to happen. You see, boys and girls, if there are any election recall processes in your state governments, it's up to each citizen in that particular state to raise a stint to protect their damn rights. Because it sure as hell ain't going to be the federal government, because you keep electing idiots in the spot at this point over here. They want to keep things exactly the way they are. Screw it up for everybody. So congratulations on that. The power's in your hands, but you don't care. So I'm waiting for America to crash. I'm waiting for America to crash and burn. And I will blame every single damn American in this place. Every damn voting person who's actually been through the elections from 2020 prior. Earlier on, I don't know if the kids are actually giving a shit about that or not. Because I sure as hell don't see any protests happening these days. I don't hear anything on social media. Or read anything on social media or even in regular news media. Nobody gives a shit. You all hear it and you all disobey and you all just don't pay attention. So enjoy all of your rights being taken by the same idiots you keep voting in. Shit, you just might as well have another damn insurrection. You did it first and then called it a picnic. And deny everything. Of course, you voted in the election officials to deny everything, even though they've been through their first insurrection, and nothing happened. Guess what? It's still the American public's fault for this one in the first place. Because, hey, some of you assholes were over there in the first place. Think about that one. All the insurrectionists over there, they're trying to protect they're trying to protect their country, trying to show how ultra patriotic they are by burning and destroying the country. By shooting, by looting, by murder, by riot. Every time there has been an outbreak, where has been the outrage? Where has been the constant outrage? And yet we get people murdered on our streets every single day. And the ones who actually get onto social media, who actually get picked up by regular media, then we start having the reactions to it. If it was never captured on film, doesn't matter. All this was captured on film throughout the years. But where was the protests regarding our democracy? Oh, you're going to be saying back in January 6th is supposed to have been a protest. Don't tell me that was a frickin' protest, marching in and through and killing an officer or two. Not to mention having one of their own shot to death. You're chanting death, death, death. Well, guess what, boys and girls? You're in the process of help killing democracy even as we speak. Because if you allowed your own politicians to do it for you with thunderous applause, your own. No wonder when it was Revenge of the Sith movie, it was more poignant sometimes when you have to see it. because in the Galactic Senate chamber, a fried up senator declared himself an emperor for a safe and secure republic. Safe and secure. And everybody applauded. And then what happened afterwards? Rebellion. Yeah, I'm expecting another insurrection to happen. I'm going to be on the sidelines watching it all. I'm going to be saying how screwed up you people are at this point over here, because you sure as hell didn't care. Oh, you thought Trump was going to be the one. He kept promising you the world, and you kept buying his bullshit. So how are you supposed to know which one's the one? There's supposed to be something called a gut feeling. But if you guys don't have the gut feeling, then I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. I'm looking at our current president of the United States, Joe Biden. He had been in the system for a hell of a lot longer than gasbag the previous president was. And he knew more about the old system there. Unfortunately, he's got to get on top of what the quote-unquote new system is, because now the new system is trying to tear apart our old ways. What our system was created under. I am part of that old guard, the belief system of it. I still think there's something called fair play. But the problem is, the interpretation of fair play is, I'm the ones calling the fair play, not you. Us versus them. Elitism. Ego. Kindergarten tactics. But hey, you guys are more than welcome to continue to do kindergarten tactics. So yeah, I blame the American people for the collapse of our country. I don't blame the politicians, because they're they were the fools for running for the office for your damn buck. But you're the idiots who voted their schmucks in, who are taking away your rights. Now what are you going to do about them? What are you going to do? Because once your rights are taken away, slowly but surely, I blame the American people. I don't blame the politicians, because the people didn't do anything about it. Well, oh, I'm sorry. They tried to do something illegal on January 6th. So you might call that an effort. No, I call that stupidity. Protesting outside with signs and chanting like crazy is one thing. Breaking into the Capitol, that wasn't smart. Interfering with electoral process, that was not smart either. The job you were supposed to be doing was voting in the person that you had a belief in. Even if the guy didn't win, you still did your job. You voted. And you may protest that you don't like the guy. That's fine. That's your job. But to do an insurrection, to go through a capital and try to harm and destroy, all in the name of trying to protect your version of democracy? Was this what the Founding Fathers ever taught us through the history books? Because apparently people have forgotten about it. Completely and utterly. So yeah, I blame every one of you guys. The question is, what exactly are you going to do about it?